There's no mention on there whatsoever of not sleeping in that car park. So I've decided we're definitely going to stay here for the night. There's an explosion. I really want to know what happened. Good morning, people. You join me today in the same place where you left me last time. Well, not exactly the same place, but I am still in Annecy. I've just got to pay the old parking ticket. I'm assuming that has worked correctly. I didn't translate it because there was people waiting in the queue behind me. But what I do know is some car parks I can pay with the tag thing that I've got up on my window here, and some you can't. I don't know if I could with this one, which is why I paid. But it says if you don't want to use this at any point, you have to like pull it off and put it in this foil bag so that it doesn't pick up the scanner thing. So I'm going to do that just in case it tries to charge me on this tag. One thing on my van has an issue, and it's the parking sensor. There's one on the front set, is that one basically. It goes off all the time, especially after it's been raining. It's not dirty, I've already checked. I reckon like moisture's getting inside it, but so far, touch wood. Is there any wood in here? Oh no! No! Well, I've just pulled over at the side of the road because look what I've found. 1 second. Touch wood. That woman behind me thinks I'm a right nutter now. Hey Siri, is bark classed as wood?
Would you like me to use ChatGPT to answer that?
What is wrong with you these days? You used to be able to answer things on your own, you absolute maniac.
Would you like me to use ChatGPT to answer that?
Oh, just shut up.
Okay, I won't.
I have officially arrived in a town that I believe is called Chamonix. But as always, do not quote me on that. But the same thing has happened that happened in the last episode, which is a blessing. I was on one side of a mountain. It was all grey skies, as you've already seen in the footage already. You go through the tunnel out the other side of the mountain and it was just perfect blue skies and the most incredible scenery. And it's not just on this trip that I've noticed that happening actually. It was Norway when I first realised it, that obviously the tunnels are mostly used to go through mountains, and on either side of a mountain they have completely different weather systems. But I am in this town now anyway, and it is absolutely beautiful. I really need to clean this windscreen at some point. But anyway, at the moment I have just whacked this car park into the sat-nav. This is another benefit. My last van wouldn't have been able to fit in the gaps between the cars in this car park. There's no height barrier here, but it was so wide that I literally wouldn't have been able to fit in this space. But this little beast slips her way right inside like an absolute beaut. I mean, it's sticking out by what, about 15 centimetres, but again the pigeon would have been sticking out by a lot more than that. So we are all good. The front is nicely in line with the white line, which means we are free to explore. So the reason I chose this particular car park is because it just looked like it was in the centre of everything. I didn't really know what it looked like. I was not expecting it to look this nice, if I'm honest. I thought it'd just be a regular town car park. Well, I suppose this is regular for these parts. It's absolutely beautiful in every direction. And the only problem with that is it means I don't know which direction to head in to see some great stuff. But what I do know is there's snow-capped mountains in the distance. There's people floating about on those crazy contraptions attempting to be a pigeon. The sun is shining. And let's be honest, I'm feeling pretty happy with myself for choosing this place. It's actually about 3 PM now, but believe it or not, that was the first thing that I've eaten all day. It was really nice as well. It's just a ham and cheese baguette in that cafe over there. The van is over there, and I'm walking this way for the only reason that on the map it looks like there's some sort of river running through the town, and it's over here. And we all know I love a bit of water. Everywhere you look up in the sky, you have got these absolute nutters just falling down. But I don't know where they're going to land. There's that one up there who's just above the building. There must be somewhere behind there to land. There's also more up there. I think they're starting up on that peak up there. But we are staying firmly on the ground. I found the river. Oh, look at this! Pigeon! 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 Oh, and of course we have the beautiful river behind me here. Because of the colour of it, I think it's like glacier water. That's what happens. I know these things. Or is it called glacier? In fact, I think it's called runoff. Glacier runoff. Glacier runoff. Who knows? Well, I know. Glacier runoff. In fact, I'm changing my mind again. I think it might be called glacial runoff. But anyway, right, so I found this little pathway that runs along the side of the river. I'm hoping to cross over in a minute so I can get back in the sun. But another question for you guys. There's an explosion every now and again. I've heard 5 of them now, quite loud. When I was in the van, I pulled up, there was one, and it almost like rocked the van. And I looked around, but no one flinched, no one cares. It's just something that's obviously going on and everyone knows why. But I don't know why. I want to know the secret. So if anyone could tell me why, in the comments, that would be grand. I've made it to the end of that little bit. There's one of those sort of bridges that everyone chucks a padlock on. And now I've come out into this nice little area where there's just a few cafes around. The river's still running beside me down there, but I don't know how much further we're going to be able to follow it down. It sort of goes off into the distance there, and this looks like it's getting to the end of the town now, so I'm just going to hang a right and see what's up in this bit here. It turns out it's a quaint little part of the town. There's nice little cafes and buildings. There's even a random polar bear. I think he's lost, personally. I've had a little look on the map, and it does look like I'm coming right up to the end of the town. So I think what I'm going to do is do a U-ey, head back down towards the van, and then go in the opposite direction, because the town's like a long, thin cigar shape. That's a lie, but it is long and thin. But to be honest, it seems like everywhere you go around here is just beautiful. I'm back at the van now, and I thought, before I go on any further, I'm just going to check the rules of this car park, because I've started to think I don't know where I'm staying tonight, and if possible, I might as well stay here. There's no mention on there whatsoever of not sleeping in that car park. It does say you can actually pay for up to 24 hours, so I reckon I'm golden. But if you hadn't guessed it yet, this town looks like it's a skiing town. Some of you probably already know that, because I think this place is quite well known, but there's ski shops like this all over the place. I don't know if this is taking me out towards the main road, but it's a nice little alleyway next to a nice little building. So I thought I'd take a walk. Yeah, it does look like we've hit the very edge of the town now, but I've found a bridge, and when you see a bridge, if you don't walk up the bridge and over the bridge, you are an imbecile. Although if I'm honest, all you can really see is these horrible metal fences. But if you stick your camera up and over the top, there's still beauty to be observed. And up in front of me there, that appears to be a ski slope. Well, at the moment, obviously, it's not, but it would be in the winter. There's probably a hell of a lot more of them than just that, though, being that we are surrounded by sloping rock formations. Well, mountains. I'm pretty sure I've covered most of the main town area, or enough to get a good feel for it anyway. But up ahead is where the sort of flighted humans appear to be landing. So I'm just going to take a wander down this little road here, and hopefully we might be able to catch a glimpse of him coming down. I would say we need to hurry up because we might miss it, but there's one there, there's one up there, there's one right above me, there's 2 up there, and there's 1 up there. Oh, and there's 1 up there and 1 up there in the distance. I don't know how well you would have been able to see any of those on this camera, but there's just basically an unlimited supply of them, so if we find the landing spot, we should be good. Right, hands up, and I want you to be honest now. Who has ever seen a road sign warning you of frogs? Because I hadn't until now. But anyway, I think bad news. I've come to this bit which is just a road heading out of town, and I don't know how to access the landing zone. Hold on! I spoke too soon. I've spotted them through the woods over here, look. There's loads of them already landed. Right. Straight over the little bridge. Look at them all. They must have had the ride of their lives. Alright, hold up. Here's one coming into land. Typical. He landed behind the grassy knoll. Oh well, there'll be another one in probably about 14 seconds. Oh yes, as predicted, here come the next batch. Incoming, here he comes. Beautiful. He glid in like a swan that on the inside is desperate for the toilet, but on the outside doesn't show a flicker of emotion. Breathtaking. Which unfortunately is more than I could say for the next contestant. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. She looked more like she had her trouser accident upon touchdown. I'm back at the car park where the van is, and unfortunately the sun has been suffocated by clouds. They're all around now. That was that beautiful view of the mountain tops earlier. So that is the end of the sun, but I feel really grateful that we had that nice afternoon, to be honest, because it appears to be quite cloudy most of the time around these parts. But anyway, it's about 5:30 now, so it's not too late for me to go and have a coffee. However, I just googled coffee shops around here, and it looks like they're all shut, apart from one that I found. It says it shuts at 6. but I don't know whether Google's doing that thing again where it's giving me the closing times in UK time. So it might shut at 7. Either way, we've got plenty of time. It's in that big building over there that I walked past earlier. So I'm going to go in there, have a coffee, and then I'm going to head back to the van, get a little bit of work done until later on when I feel peckish. So it turns out that place was a hotel, but they had like a nice cafe sort of bar area downstairs, and they let me sit in there and grab that coffee. It was really nice, but that was earlier. I've been back in the van for a little bit now. As you can see on the CCTV, it is dark outside. And I've been looking up where to eat. Well, this is how I look up where to eat, right? I go onto Google and I type food. And then I look at the map and then I look at the ratings of all the places around me. There's one that is 5 stars. I don't know what it is. I genuinely haven't looked at the menu or the website or anything like that. All I know is it's open and it's got a 5-star rating and it's not far from here. So that's where I'm going to go. But before I do, well, I just want to wait for that geezer to drive off because he's just started his engine. In fact, it doesn't matter, he's on that side of the van, so he won't see us. But before I do, I just want to get out and see for the first time since putting my curtain in how visible things are from the front. Okay, there's a little strip of light down the middle. That's just where the curtains open a bit. Oh, and down the side there. But if I fix those little gaps, I mean, it's not the most stealthiest of curtains. It does let a little bit of light through, but seeing as this car park's lit by street lamps, I don't think anyone's going to notice that anyway. So I've decided we're definitely going to stay here for the night, but that spot there is on a little bit of a wonk, and this one over here is free now. I'm just thinking, should I reverse in or go in forwards? Probably going to reverse in, but anyway, I'm going to get that done and then I'm going to get my bed ready so that when I get back from the restaurant I could just climb straight in. So I'm planning on having an early night tonight. Okay, that parking spot is far better. Let's go and check out this restaurant. It's called HC Chamonix. I cannot believe I've just walked past a McDonald's for this. This better be worth it. Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, just here.
Okay, thank you.
What do you prefer?
Well, I don't want to take a big table because I'm just sat on my own.
You can sit here if you want, or here. So the food, and you have the wine list.
It appears we are located deep within the posh gaff and it's far too late to do anything about it right about now. Although, they've got steak, so I'm happy. Merci. Yes, I will have the sirloin steak.
Okay.
Is, how do you say, 400 400?
400, ouais. French fries?
Yes, some fries.
Yes, the meat comes with fries.
Oh, it already comes
Yes,
with...
yes.
Perfect.
Already.
That's good for me then.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Do you want water? Sparkling?
Still.
Still? Okay.
Messy. He's just brought over the meat for me uncooked and I was like, what the hell is going on here? But it was just to show me the size of it because it was slightly over the weight I asked for. I said 400 grams. Did you hear my French? Did you hear it? But it was 420, so I'm assuming I have to pay for that extra 20. But yeah, he's basically shown me that. Looks good. Plus I have my beer at hand. I'm not walking around with a beer, by the way. That is water. They gave me a glass bottle of water and then the guy said I could take it with me. And then as I was walking out of it, the woman was like, no, you can't do that. I think the guy was new and he didn't realise, so they've had to pour it into a plastic cup for me. Anyway, after I filmed that last clip, I realised they didn't even ask how I wanted the steak cooked. And then I realised that the restaurant was empty and I was literally the only person in there. So I started to get a bit worried, thinking, what is this place all about? But it turns out there was zero to worry about. That steak was absolutely delicious. I don't know if you could tell on this clip, I'm colourblind, so to me it just looks all the same. But I could tell you now that was about medium rare and it was absolutely incredible. Let there be light. I am absolutely knackered, so I'm going to jump into bed, find a YouTube video to watch and catch me some Zeds.
I read that there were rock pools here. Yeah. And I used to love going rock pooling with my dad when I was young.
Good morning, the people. I've got my green smoothie mixed in with that ginger shot. This is a highly refreshing way to start the day, although it's not caffeinated, so I'm going to get to that bit in a minute. I didn't sleep the best, if I'm honest. I don't know why. Well, I don't know why. I just couldn't get comfortable. I've been so comfy in this van ever since I've had it. But last night, it was just different. I don't know why. Might be because I've started to use this cushion, this pillow rather, as a cushion. I really need to sort it out when I get home and make a cushion for this bench seat. Because I've been sitting on that and I think it's made it a bit like out of shape and that. Anyway, it is not a bright and sunny day outside today. But we're going to get outside in a minute and have a look anyway. She is a good one. So, as you know, I do have a full kitchen area in here, and I can make coffee on the stove and breakfast and all sorts. Also, little side note, have I even shown you guys my sink here? It's a bit wet because I've had a little wash in here this morning. Look at it go! That is genuine H2O, freely flowing from my spout. I figured that because we're here, even though there's probably not the best view today because of the clouds, I don't want to be tucked up inside and having me breakfast and a coffee in here. I'm going to go out. So I'm going to go back to probably that cafe I went to yesterday to get a morning coffee and maybe some sort of pan au chocolat. Despite the fact I've had petty wash Don's Le Sink, I am going to go find somewhere after this to have a shower, to have a full-on freshen up before moving on to the next destination, because unfortunately I'm not going to be staying here for long. This was actually just a flying visit because there's somewhere else that I was heading to, and it's not in this country. So you know what, even though it is cloudy today, that view there of the sort of haziness in front of the mountains is actually incredible. There's a little hint of blue just coming through and you can just about see them in a mystical way. But as for the view we had yesterday on the other side of the car park where we could see the snow-capped mountains, that has completely vanished. Which is mental if you think about it, right? Because imagine I just rocked up here today and I didn't know anything about the area and all I saw was that sort of thing behind me. I just wouldn't know how beautiful this place was. Did you hear that? That was the explosion I was talking about. I don't know if the camera would have picked that up. There was loads of them yesterday and it's just happened again. That's the first one I caught on camera. I really want to know what happened. That was not the normal explosion. That was something closer. What the hell was that? It was a gunshot. Pigeon! Pigeon! I'm extremely grateful for the weather we had yesterday because you could just see it just looks a bit more dull and nothing looks quite the same when the sun isn't shining. Anyway, I'm going to head inside this huge building here, get myself a coffee and some breakfast. I went for a savoury option in the end and I accompanied that with a cinnamon coffee, which was pretty nice. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I witnessed nature occurring. You will probably notice in the background you can now see the mountains. It was actually quite amazing. I was sat there and then I noticed the sun popping his little head out over the top of the mountain, and literally as soon as it happened you could see all the mist and the clouds heating up and rising up out of the valley. 10 minutes later and it's pretty much all clear, and once again we have that incredible view and nice blue skies. But I was thinking about those explosions, and I know there's some areas or some mountains where they do controlled explosions to intentionally cause an avalanche, just to get rid of any loose snow before people climb up it or ski down it or whatever. But I ruled that out because around here there's basically barely any snow. It's not winter yet. However, there are those mountains up in the background there, and they actually do appear to be fully covered in snow at the tops. So at the moment, that's my only guess, but I am still curious if there's another reason why there'd be explosions. Maybe they're creating some sort of new tunnel, who knows? But what I do know is it's time to head on out of here. I've actually changed my mind as to where I'm going, so at this current moment, I have no idea where I'm heading, but I'm about to go and get in the van and figure that one out. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you on the next one.